Hello everyone, Sharon Ann Klingler with you today for our Facebook reading and practice with our new spread for the tarot. And when we do these spreads, even though we're using the Akashic Tarot, you can apply these spreads to any tarot or oracle deck if you'd like. If you're a reader or starting out for yourself, which even if you're not, I strongly recommend it. Just get a deck that that compels you or that you feel connected to, because you can get even an insight on a daily basis with the tarot card just by pulling one and to see what your day's focus is going to be, or a lesson, or even just some energy. In our Akashic Tarot, we not only have the meaning of the cards, but the book also has an Akashic force or energy force with each card that you can tune into throughout the day to just help you lift your energy. And again, as I say every time we do a reading, that I appreciate you guys writing in your individual questions for individual readings, but we don't do that here. We have lots and lots and lots of viewers, and I always want to draw the cards that are going to be most relevant to the people that are tuning in. So I always tell the cards I want a reading for this day, this week specifically, and for all the viewers who are coming. And so I invite you to send your comments, but I'm sorry we can't do individual readings. But that doesn't mean this reading isn't for you. Watch and be aware that this reading is just for you, just as you would look in a magazine for your sun sign, and the month to come in your sun sign. There's something in this just for you. Okay, and I also want to say thank you to all of you who are sending in your questions about the gemstones, about any metaphysical questions and ideas and topics. Since we're doing a Q&A period, and I'm talking about different things once a month, your questions and your topics and your ideas of the things about which you would like to speak are very helpful to me. So keep them coming. Keep them coming. Okay, so today we're going to do what's called the over and under spread. Okay, this starts out with a simple 3-card spread, which we have done many times before. And again, you start from the left and you go this way, because left is past and right is future generally. Okay, so we put these 3 cards down in a normal fashion. Initiation in the Count Saint Germain is reversed. And Adsum, which is what's printed on my hand, that's in Agam lettering, which is called the letters of the trees, the language of the trees. Adsum is a Latin word, and it means I am here for you. I arrive. I attend you. And this is how our relationship with Spirit. If we attend them, they'll attend us. And guess what? Even if we don't spend any time attending to them, they will attend us, because that's how much they love us. So, and then the 3rd card out is Winged Messengers reversed. Now, if we were to just read this in a regular fashion of a 3-card spread, past, present, future, and indeed, since we do these at least once a month, it's immediate past, present, and future. This is not 10 years out or even 2 years out, okay? So right now what's happening, and very recently what's happening, are initiation. Initiation is moving to higher planes of insight, higher revelations of power, higher revelations of guidance, okay? It's reversed, which means in some way, in some fashion, there's part of our lives where we are, if not turning our backs on a new experience, a greater experience of power and direction, if we're not turning our backs on it, we're at least not attending to it the way we could be or should be. When we're working on our initiation, it means that we lift everything that happens in our life to a perspective of how can I do good with this? How can I contribute to mankind? How can I take myself to a higher understanding? And how can I honor myself in this endeavor? Whatever endeavor it is, a relationship, a job, a task, anything. Okay, you can lift it to a higher plane. But there's something in our lives, you and mine, right now, that we've been kind of avoiding or indeed not disciplining ourselves. I know what this is for me. I've been so darn busy, I haven't had the chance to meditate. That's not the right thing to do. We need to do the things that honor us and that honor our spiritual development and the work that we are here to do. So and there certainly might be other things for me as well. So even if it's just a matter of being busy, something is falling by the way in your spiritual journey and your heightening of your powers and the purposes that you hold, okay? So be aware of that. And then we move into Adsum, which is the commitment to Spirit and Spirit's commitment to you. And here we have this person reading, studying, but looking up and realize she's being distracted by this angel, and Grandma's over there, and higher guides and the elementals and all of them. If we can turn our attention to the insight and the guidance of our own spirit, and also perhaps even give some time to those spirit beings, and indeed the higher masters who is reflected in here, who are reflected here with the Count Saint Germain, we can get back on track. So go back to your own spirit and put that first, and put that directive forward in your life. Let your spirit guide the way, okay? And then we move into winged messengers, and perhaps that's reversed. And this is a little bit of a, you can see the glass is chipped and it's fallen over. And this is a family card and relationship card. And reversed, it's a little bit of an upset in a relationship. It doesn't have to be family. It could be a relationship with a co-worker. It could be a relationship with just about anybody. Your father, your mother, your children, your partner, anybody, okay? So when this card is reversed, there is an awareness that we are having some of the interruptions. Certainly some of the interruptions here might be busyness, but some of the interruptions might be other people. And indeed, it might not be that the other people are mean to us, although that's possible, but some of the interruptions might be other people who require our time so much that we have to let some of our own agenda go. So this is the other thing we need to be aware of, to get back to spirit, get back to our own spirit as the foundation, and not be disrupted by others' agendas. So this is the regular 3-card spread, but this is now going to turn into the over and under spread, okay? So these are the things that are happening on the surface, and when we put cards underneath, we see what's holding them up, what's supporting them, the insight that's below the surface that we may not know about or may need more or greater information. Okay, and these are the cards that I spread for the under, that came out for the under. Okay. And while these cards can be sequential like this, they're even more important as the support for each card. Okay? So, now we look at initiation reversed in an entirely different fashion, because the thing that may be impeding our activities and purposes and directives in our reaching higher levels of mind and heart and power is the karmic trench. Now the karmic trench is upright, which means we fall into karmic patterns, lessons in our karma that we need to learn. And we keep digging ourselves deeper. So there's something in your karma that's waking up for you, or still present if it's been very active in your life, that is causing the impedance of your moving to higher power. Study your karma. Go back and look at, we did a Q&A in June about karma and reincarnation and relationships. Go back and watch that video and see if there's insight for you about a karmic relationship that you're kind of stuck in a pattern with that keeps you from putting your own higher work on the front burner. Take a look at that, okay? Take a look at that and see how your karma reflects or impedes or even just delays the work that you can do on your heightening of your power. Now, this is the work with spirit that we've done and that we can bring ourselves to. And the spring card is underneath that. Now, spring is, of course, as a metaphor, new beginnings, planting seeds, starting a harvest. Not to harvest, but planting the seeds that will later be harvested. So if you haven't spent a lot of time with spirit, or indeed, if you even think that your time with spirit won't pay off, this tells us otherwise. This tells us that if you plant some seeds with the spirit world, then you will know that they are going to be bringing you guidance that's going to be helpful in your harvest if you just plant the seeds of interaction and communication with them. They, spirit, and your own higher self, that's included in the world of spirit, can bring you insight that is phenomenal, things that would go unknown to you if we don't spend some time listening to the guidance and opening to spirit and their images and messages. So know that you can plant seeds with spirit that will pay off in a far greater way than you think. Spend some time. It's more important than you think. The other thing with spring is sometimes the season cards can be very, very literal. Okay? Now, we don't turn into summer until, June 21st, something like that. So there could be an event or some seed that had been planted in these last few months, March, April, May, June. And I want you to think back about any seeds that you have planted in your work or any endeavor of heightening yourself, taking yourself to greater success, both spiritually and in your very real life. And go back to that and start to say, oh, that's right. In April, I made a connection or a call to this person. Or in May, I sent a resume to that company. Or in March, I thought about starting a book, but I put that idea down. And then go back in your meditation to spirit and start to talk to them about the insight they bring you, about the thing that you started in spring but may have lost track of, okay? This past spring, not 2 springs ago, not 3 springs ago, these past few months, okay? Spirit will inform you about what step next to take about the thing that you started this spring and can bring to fruition, all right? Always make your higher self your guide. Whether or not you want to talk to Grandma or Grandpa, that's up to you. They hang out with you, you might as well, but always make your higher self your guide. Okay, so now we move into this disruption in a family or relationship or that type of thing. And we see underneath it intricacies in industry. And you can see the guy with the plumb bob measuring out the wall for this great Renaissance cathedral that he's just starting to build. And so we see that we have to make small. This is the card of doing the little things. Great cathedrals aren't built in a day, and they're not built with one broad sweep. They're built with one stone on top of another, on top of another, and on top of another. And so this card tells us 2 things. First of all, that in order to make inroads to healing, perhaps this relationship, we can't expect it to be done overnight and in a large sweeping way. We have to take small steps, little bits of outreach, or just peace and patience and meditation, and then just take your time and take little steps in the resolving of this relationship, or indeed in the things you have to do for this relationship, which brings us to the next thing. Remember, I said as we were reading the top row, we said this disruption doesn't have to be just because mean and poopy person, and yes, that is the technical word for it, is in your life and disrupting your life. This could also indicate that you maybe have an obligation to another person that is keeping you from this agenda here and your own agenda, okay? And that person could even be your boss. It might be your job that you have an obligation to do, and that's disrupting your own steps on your own path. But this tells us that even if this disruption is caused by somebody else's agenda, we can do little things in our own path. We don't have to put our own agenda, our own work, our own success, our own personal realization of power and love and joy on a back burner. We don't have to make that go away. We can take a little step even every day. If you don't have time, meditate 5 minutes. If you don't have time to exercise, instead of doing 3 miles, walk 1 mile or a half a mile. Do the things that are in your heightening agenda, which is the first card that we see out. And you can do them in little ways, so you don't end up telling the universe, so that when we let other things get in our way, don't end up telling the universe what's important to us, and what's important to our well-being doesn't matter. So we don't care if we're well, and we don't care if we're happy. If we put everything that matters to us aside, that's our statement to the universe. And this card, this last card in the over and under reading, says that we don't have to do that. Even if we have to restrict ourselves to tiny steps, a little prayer here, a short meditation, a piece of action. If we want to write a book, then we write a paragraph. During this phase, we can't do other people's agenda exclusively or even predominantly forever. But during phases of great busyness or whatever have you, you can take the little steps. And even when you take little steps, you build a cathedral of your effort and your success to realizing your higher powers, your higher mind, and having them manifest in your physical, personal, financial relationship life. So there we have the over and under card spread. So we can look at 3 cards on top, and then we put 3 cards underneath and see how each one supports or influences the card that's above it. And I want to thank you all for joining me with this lesson in the over and under tarot spread. And my name's Sharon Ann Klingler, and I appreciate all your questions, all your comments, and I wish you all to have a very peaceful and joyful day. Thank you. God bless you.